Very good afternoon. So this is a bit of an impromptu live video. So I'm joined by Freddie behind the camera.
Hello everyone.
And we thought we would just have a quick catch up. And really it was a chance for you guys to ask any questions on the DB9. So we're about 1,500 tickets left on the DB9 as things stand. But tomorrow morning we will be going live at 9 o'clock and this car will be given away. So if you recognise this car, because of its colour and its interior and everything like that, you're absolutely correct. We have actually had this car once before. Nick Jones won this December last year. This, before that, was my car. I had this car a really long time. So I'm Craig, I own Bridge Classic Cars. This was my daily drive, and a lot of people on our lives were saying, are you going to give the DB9 away? And to be fair, I was never going to. And then I kind of made the decision one day that I would. And we did. Back in December, we did a big draw where we gave the DB9 away and a Ferrari Mondial.
That was a night, wasn't it?
It was
Two
brilliant.
of our biggest competitions in one go.
So we had a live audience and everything in the Atelier building. And this was given away to Nick Jones. And I've kept in touch with Nick Jones along the way, because as soon as we sort of said we were going to do this as a competition, I kind of regretted it, really, because I do love this car. I bought this car, I've always wanted an Aston. And I love the colour. You can get them in silver, you can get them in black, you can get them with the black interior. I've seen quite a lot, and then this became available, and I just loved it. So it's blue. Some people thought in the pictures that it looks black. It is blue. Not really sure the exact midnight blue.
Yeah, to be fair, it's a deep royal blue, isn't it?
I think it's midnight blue. I think that is the colour. But if you're watching along and you know the colour, let me know. But I'm pretty certain it's midnight blue, and obviously it's the beige or the biscuit interior. But I've spent a lot of time and effort on this car. Just keeping it, just maintaining them. In the service history alone is absolutely to die for. Everything is beautifully presented in folders, and you'll get all of that as well. So like I say, Nick Jones won this back in December. We kept in touch, and it was very random what actually happened. About 2 or 3 months ago, he dropped me an email with no intention at all of sort of saying, I'm selling the car, do you want to buy it back? But it was that, and he sent me an email basically saying, unfortunately, circumstances at home had changed. It was nothing too serious, in all honesty. He was trying to get planning permission for a garage. The planning permission got refused, so then he just felt the car didn't want to sit outside, and when it was in my possession, it never lived outside, it always lived in a garage. So he contacted me to say, I didn't want you being offended, but you will probably see your car on websites because I have to sell it. So I had this conversation with him and said, well, how much do you want for it? And it was a bit of an uncomfortable conversation, because obviously he'd won the car for, what, £15 at the time, and we're sort of having this uncomfortable conversation of trying to buy it back for what the car's value is. But we did come to a deal, and I bought the car back, and then 2 or 3 weeks ago, I sat down with Freddie and the team, and we sort of said, what should we do? Should I keep hold of it again, or should we do it as another competition? So we've had a lot of comments, people that perhaps haven't read the description as to the story of this car. Yes, it's exactly the same car as we gave away back in December, and we bought it back. And in all fairness, to be completely open, we bought it back for less than what I originally paid for it many years ago. So that meant the odds on this competition could be better. So whereas the last time there was about 500 more tickets available.
Exactly. We knocked 500 tickets off the original competition.
So we wanted it to be fair. So at the moment, this is 1,500 tickets left on this car as it stands, but whether or not we sell out, probably won't sell out, in all honesty, knowing sort of we keep a record of the progress of these things. I would probably say we're not going to sell out by tomorrow. So you've got even better odds, but saying that, you had better odds than last time anyway. So you were in the draw last time. Feel free to get another ticket, because you'll be in the draw again this time and you'll have even better odds.
It's worth noting, if you've not been watching along for the last few months, we've now moved the live draw schedule around a little bit. So we're now live on Tuesday mornings, which means that competitions close on Monday nights. So tonight is your last chance to pick up tickets on the Aston.
10 o'clock
tonight. Yeah, 10 o'clock tonight, the competition closes. And then 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, we'll run the draw.
So if you need to know anything about this car, then ask away. I think I probably know a lot of it. So it's been serviced by Aston Martin for most of its life. We've obviously maintained it in-house with the everyday bits and pieces that you need, but any major services I've taken it to, whilst it's been in my possession, Stratton's Motor Company, which are sort of on the way to Norwich. So they've looked after it for me. Before that, I'm just trying to think where I bought the car from. Midlands, I think I bought the car from.
We get asked the question a lot about what's the next classic, what's the future classic going to be? And I remember you talking about V12s being... Well,
I think so, yeah. I mean, I personally think that was one of the things when I bought this back, I was thinking, should I buy it back to keep it? Because, like Freddie said, V12s, I think, will be the future classic, especially going into electric or...
Well, they just can't be produced like this anymore.
Whatever's next, yeah, absolutely. So I think this is probably going to be a future classic. But the nice thing, I think, personally about this car is you get a lot of cars, and we find a lot of cars that are really low mileage. This isn't high, but it has been used. The gentleman who I bought it off used it as his everyday car. I wasn't shy at using it as my everyday car, but it has been really well maintained. And whilst it's been in my possession, I've recovered the front seats, because as normal, the bolster on the driver's seat goes. And obviously, because we've got the trimmers in-house,
so with the talent we've got upstairs, it'd be really
it made
nice
sense. Yeah, and I had no intention of ever getting rid of the car, so I took both front seats out. The rears look like they've never been sat in, because let's face it, there's not really a lot of space in the back for anything. But I recovered the front seats in matching leather. Just trying to think what else I've done on the car. I mean, it's got Bridgestone tyres. They've recently been, or just before Nick won the car.
The wheels have been refurbished about 6 times, haven't they?
Yeah, right. So the story of the wheels, if you look on our website, look in the project section of our website, you'll see everything that happens in the workshops here. We make into a project that you can follow along. So the wheels, very quickly on that one, a friend of mine, Mark, has got a Porsche 911, and he brought the Porsche 911 to us, and it was red, and it had sort of a grey, gunmetal grey wheel, and I really liked it. So there was nothing wrong with my wheels. They were starting to look like they were going to need a bit of attention soon. So I took the wheels off and gave them to our wheel manufacturer, or wheel refurbisher, should I say, and asked him to match the colour of Mark's Porsche 911. They were terrible. They came back, and I just looked. They weren't, I mean, a lot of people, I don't know if they were being nice here, they sort of went, yeah, they suit the car. And I just, every time I looked at it, I thought, they don't suit the car. You know, just don't mess about with what it should be. So I took them back off again. They were on for all of about a day. I took it back off and got them all completely done again to how they should be originally. But that was, God, a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Yeah. Still look great, though.
Yeah. I don't think it's done many miles. It certainly hasn't done many miles since it's been with Nick. So, yeah.
Just going to say a good number of people watching along, so thank you for joining us. Myself and Craig are going to be live for another 5 minutes or so. Absolutely. But if you have any questions about this car, do let us know. But for those of you just joining us, this DB9 is going to be won tomorrow morning, and the competition closes tonight at 10 o'clock. So if you fancy the look of the car and fancy owning it, then pick up a ticket for the draw. You've got until 10 o'clock tonight.
So I'll just talk about it once more. This was my car many years ago, or a year or so ago, and I owned it for years. I then gave it away in a competition back in December. Nick won it. He then contacted us again because he was looking at selling it, so we bought it back. There was one comment on our Facebook that seemed to have got a lot of traction from a gentleman who hadn't read the description properly, and he thought it was all not quite right because the previous car had the same registration. So then I jumped in and sort of told the story, and I thought, well, whilst we're live, we might as well tell that story anyway. So yeah, there's nothing untoward. This was my car. It's now my car again, but yes, it'll be given away tomorrow at 9 o'clock. We go live. Is it 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock?
9 o'clock.
So 10 o'clock tonight is the last time you can buy tickets. There's about 1,500 or 1,400 left on this car at the moment. The tickets are £15. They were £12.50. So if you didn't jump on first thing, that's probably one thing to bear in mind. When we launch the cars, that's the cheapest time you'll ever get tickets. So if you see them and you like them, get your tickets early on. There's no point in holding on till the end. This is a good example that when we launched this, it was £12.50. It's now £15. That doesn't change. You know, even though there's 1,400 tickets left, they're not all of a sudden going to go down again. We will just lose whatever tickets there are left. They'll sit in the drawer, and if we pick that number and there's no name attached to it, we just pick again.
Yeah, that's a good point to make. Regardless, there'll be a winner found tomorrow. So if it's a ticket that hasn't been sold, we just roll again until we find a winner.
But very quickly, we'll talk about the other things that we've got live at the moment. So let's touch upon our Royal Enfield.
Yes, we've not. I don't think
we haven't really looked
about
at
that on a live video yet.
This bike is incredible, and I'm not just saying that, right? So we picked the bike up, it got delivered to the hangar at Bentwaters, and I rode it back from Bentwaters to here, and that's actually my bike, the Ducati, and I won't lie to you, I actually think this rides nicer. This is a stunning bike. It doesn't go as quick as the Ducati does, because it's only a 350, but it is so responsive. It does everything you want it to do. It's not complicated. It's a really lovely bike. So it's 170 miles from new. It's only a year old, or not even a year old.
I mean, it looks looks immaculate, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's got that classic look, but obviously it's got the modern technologies on it, so it's well worth grabbing a ticket for that, because they're on sale at the moment, aren't they? £3.50?
They are, yep. Yeah, that's the launch sale price.
£3.50, and they go up to £4. Right, okay, so it's worth getting your tickets now on that one. It's about 50% sold at the moment, and that is a week on Tuesday that will be given away. So yeah, grab a ticket for that. It's well worth it. And it's a good starter bike. If you've not had a bike before, probably well worth getting something like this, because like I say, it's such a stunning bike to ride. And then the other car, which is live on the website at the moment, is a really special one. We've owned this car, it's been seen in the background for quite a while, and then last week we launched this, and we could tell the full story of why we were launching this. So we've teamed up with East Anglian Air Ambulance, who are absolutely incredible. It's the yellow helicopter that you see up in the sky. So they do some amazing things, and they're not funded by the government or anything like that. They're self-funded, they're a charity. So we teamed up with them on this car, and we've decided that every single penny of the profits that we make on this car will go back to the East Anglian Air Ambulance. We've done it in the past. Obviously, as you know, if you've followed us for some time, that we worked with Lotus, and we gave £100,000 back to Community Sport Foundation in Norwich. The Ukrainian appeal, the DEC, we gave £40,000 back to them when they desperately needed it. And this is our next one. East Anglian Air Ambulance will be getting every single penny of this. So at the moment we've raised about £10,500, but let's just keep it going. We're not shy at saying that it's unlimited, the tickets on this. Normally we would say there's 2,000 or 3,000. Of course, I hope that you join us in trying to raise as much money as possible for this.
There's a lot to love about this competition. Not only is it a great cause, but also it's a lovely Spitfire, isn't it? It's
incredible.
One of the nicest I've seen.
We haven't had to do anything on this. So a gentleman that we know up in Scotland who's a car collector, he contacted us and said there's a Spitfire nearby that it's well worth seeing. So we purchased it. It came back down from Scotland, and then we contacted East Anglian Air Ambulance, and they were up for it. So.
We've got a question that's come in from Mark Colley. He's saying, when or if will the E-Type be coming to the draw? Now, I'm not sure if you're talking about the E-Types in this building. Neither of those will be coming to the draw.
Well, let's talk about these.
A E-Type.
Yes, let's talk about these, and then we'll talk about what Freddie's talking about. So this is Fern Grey. If you've seen it on our website. So this is our left-hand drive, full restoration. So the gentleman who owns this car lives in France, and we restored it from him. It came over from California many years ago in white. So we completely restored that, and we always maintain it, so it needs a service. So it's come back over from France to be serviced, and then it will go back over to France in a couple of weeks' time. And then this is a local E-Type to us. Again, you'll see it on the website in the project section. Again, it's general maintenance. It's absolutely stunning. We've not restored this car. I don't know who has, but it is absolutely beautiful. Again, both of these are in just for service and general maintenance. But then, like Freddie said, if you follow along the project, you'll see that we've got our blue E-Type, which will be a competition car. From day one, we always said that you would help us with this one. So we bought the car as a partly restored car. The story goes that when we bought it, we weren't going to paint it, because in theory the shell was completely painted, but it wasn't done to our standards. So it's been completely taken back to bare metal and started again. That will be a competition car, and that will hopefully be launched very soon. It's a tight one, this one, because we know when we're giving it away, which is the beginning of August, the very first weekend in August. We're part of a big car show down here in Suffolk called Helmingham Hall. That car will be on pride of place in our stand, and we will be giving it away that day.
I think Mark was familiar with the car because he said, thanks for the E-Type update. You're very welcome.
No, it's no problem at all. But yeah, we're very nervous at the moment because the car's not finished, so we've actually not sold any tickets for it, but it will be given away at Helmingham, so we're really tight on that one.
We're holding off on revealing too much about it next, but I'm sure we'll do a video fairly soon with an update of where we're at, because the next major step is going to be trim, and then once the trim is done and the engine's been refitted, then it's a case of putting it all back together.
We're not far off. We're really not far off. I mean, we need that back within probably, what are we on now, June?
Yeah, really by the start
3 or
of
4
July.
weeks,
yeah.
We're probably going to need that done. So that's the exciting one. We're looking forward to that, because that will be our biggest competition. I mean, we've had some big ones along the way, the Porsche 911, the Ferrari Mondial, the DB9. That's probably one of the most talked about cars, I would say.
Certainly when you mention the word classic car, that's the vehicle that appears in a lot of people's mind, isn't it, the Jaguar E-Type. So I think that'll be a really fun competition.
And the nice thing about that one to win, if you're involved in it, if you've made the decision on its colour and the trim and the wheels and everything like that, then then it feels a little bit nicer if you do go on to win, that you've kind of made some decisions along the way. But we'll just touch upon the DB9 very quickly. So tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, Molly will be here, we'll go live, and this car will be given away for a second time. The odds are even better than last time. There's 500 less tickets in this one. But let's face it, there's 1,400 tickets still left on this one. So I'm pretty certain it's not going to be a sellout. It's £15 a ticket. The odds are absolutely incredible. It's definitely going to be one tomorrow. 10 o'clock tonight is the final time you can get tickets. So get on between now and 10 o'clock tonight. Once it hits 10 o'clock, the computer shuts down, you can't buy any more tickets. So don't leave it till the last minute because there's absolutely no point. The tickets prices aren't going to change. It's £15. Like I say, 10 o'clock tonight. You've got an up until, and then 9 o'clock tomorrow we'll go live. And then check out the other ones as well. We'll talk more about them tomorrow, but you've got the Royal Enfield Meteor, and obviously you've got the Triumph Spitfire as well. But the point of this, if there's no more questions, we'll say goodbye. But, you know, if you have got questions and you're watching this along afterwards and we're not live, just drop us a comment and hopefully we'll jump on and answer the questions. But good luck for tomorrow, and you've got till 10 o'clock tonight. So, yeah, see you then.